Well, I mean, jazz is pretty broad. So, okay, so here's my story with this. I was playing a gig with a trio that I started that was like standards, which is to say music from the 50s and 60s. Swing with a drummer and a bass player and a trumpet, no singing. And we were in a club, and whatever, the music was kind of boring. It was boring to me, and it was boring to the other guys in the band. It all felt like it's the stuff that we learned in school. And I've left the gig feeling, you know, kind of hangdog, you know, I don't want to do this anymore. And then I was in the subway, and I saw two guys that wound up, you know, we wound up working a lot together. Jake Sanders on guitar, Michael Magro on clarinet. And Michael had like a little foot cymbal, you know, he was keeping time with that. And they were playing like Glory, Glory, Hallelujah, Battle Hymn of the Republic. And I had my horn with me, and I was just kind of eyeballing them. I'm like, dude, can I like play with you? And they were like, totally, let's try it. And we played for like 3 or 4 songs. And it was, you know, I couldn't help smiling. It was the most joyous, funnest thing, and everybody was listening. It was like, we know what that is. That's Swanee River. Everybody knows that song. And it was so happy and positive. So, you know, and it felt so easy for me to do it. It just really felt very natural and very easy. Yeah, it's like, you know, a fish that finally found the water that it was supposed to swim in. You know, all of a sudden I'm just like, oh, dude, this is my thing. I didn't know it until then, and I've been playing music for 20 years already. But as soon as I sat in with those guys, I'm like, okay, this is my thing. You know, this is really easy and natural for me. So since then, you know, that's been a big focus. I've had other focuses as well, but this has been the main focus since that time, and getting larger and having more and more extensions into, you know, the world around me. And we had a, you know, a journey of about 2.5 years together. But when finally I was on my own, and I'm like, okay, I want to go my own way, like I had a pretty clear idea about the genre that I wanted, the kinds of instruments that I wanted, and I just started working, you know, my network of people that I knew, and actually did some Craigslist stuff. I actually auditioned about 20, 25 guitar players. And I put up an ad just being really specific. This is me, this is what I want, this is you, this is what you can do. And there was one guy that, well, there was like 3 or 4 guys that were great, but one guy really blew me away, and this is Clifton Hyde from Mississippi, who is just a wonderful savant of a musician. He just understands so much and can play in so many different styles, from the avant-garde to funk. He's actually in the Blue Man Group, so he's up in the band loft. You know, there's six people in the cast. 3 of them are musicians and 3 of them are blue men, so he's one of the musicians, and he's been doing that for about 7, 8 months now. Anyway, the point is that he's really very gifted, and working with Clifton, he actually introduced me to Tuba Joe, who was our first bass player, you know, and then he introduced us to Stefan, who was our reed player, plays clarinet and saxophone, and then since then we made one change. Instead of Tuba Joe on tuba, we have Rob Atkins. I say Rod Atkins. Rob Atkins on bass, and Rob's been playing with us since June or July. I think we first played with him in June. And Rob, we just saw him at a jam session, and we were like, that guy's great. Yeah, so we've done 2 CDs already. The new CD is called Houndstooth. It comes out December 12th. I'm gonna get it back from the, which is in approximately 720, no, I'm just kidding, hours. Yeah, that was great. Basically, we just went down to Philadelphia, just put a couple mics in a room and just did what we did and what we've been doing on the street, you know, all year long. So, I mean, it's gonna be available online, but that probably won't be even for a week after we get it. When you can feel good about doing something that's so easy and natural for you, and like 3-year-olds, 10-year-olds, teenagers, people in their 20s, people in their 40s, people in their 80s, all want to move their bodies and smile and listen. You know, we see this pretty much every day when we play out in the park during the year. I feel crazy fortunate, you know, that I can play this kind of music and get that kind of response. It feels great to me.